tie a ribbon around the hosel of your golf club, set your smartphone up in front of you and put it on slow motion. And you can see exactly the path of that swing.
The exact path of the swing.
Yep.
And save $10,000 from TrackMan.
Exactly. You don't need a TrackMan.
Who needs TrackMan? I mean, it's nice, but hey.
Yeah. So you're in Atlanta?
I am in Atlanta.
Yeah, I miss Atlanta. I lived there for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, worked almost. Well, I was hired at Quixie Radio.
Okay.
But never made it on the air because they had a program director change.
Okay.
And they had a guy named Craig Ashworth who had an Australian accent. He's still in the market somewhere.
Okay.
And then they said, well, that would get confusing. The names and the Australian accent's cuter, so we'll hire him.
Well, they took that guy. Okay. Well, I hope everything all worked out for the best for you.
I had a contract, so I got paid for 6 months for doing nothing. So.
There you go. So, hey, play a little golf, right? Play a little golf, relax, and things.
That's right. Had a good time. Went to work for an advertising agency. Got a couple golf courses on as clients. Played golf for free. It was great.
There you go. You made the best of that. Absolutely.
So we're just going to talk like we're old friends.
Okay, I like that.
If you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. Good conversation.
And we're going to talk for a couple of segments here. And we are not only the podcast, but we are also on Sports Map Radio Network.
Okay.
Out of Houston.
Okay.
Sunday mornings, 8 o'clock Eastern time.
Perfect time.
102 radio stations coast to coast.
Wow. Okay, that's excellent.
I know, it kind of scares me too every time.
Well, that's good. You're spreading the gospel of golf. That's a good thing.
For the old disc jockey, he's on now in 12 of the top 20 markets in the country.
That's amazing.
It is. Yeah.
Congratulations on that. So, yeah, you were telling me the stats and the nomination for the awards and all that's been going on. You guys are doing great. It's kudos.
We are, man, and I owe a lot of it to Jeff, and he owes a lot of what's happened with him. I mean, he's now top 100. He's gotten a lot of publicity through us too, so it's kind of a symbiotic relationship that works out great. But so anyhow, we're going to start here with this will be segment number 2 of the show.
Okay,
and we will begin in 3, 2, 1. Do you want to thank y'all for hanging out and coming back? We are those weekend golf guys. I am John Ashton. As we mentioned, Jeff Smith is at the PGA show. He's the one guy that gets to go. And he has to work, though. He doesn't get to sit out there. But it's cold in Orlando this week, too. So I'm not missing out on much of anything. Yeah. But I want to welcome in our guest, Dr. Greta. Where are you from, John? New England? Dr. Greta Anderson.
Hello. Hello, John. Nice to be here.
Dr. Greta, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Great.
Good. Jeff and I have often said that golf has a reputation of being a game played by old white guys in funny pants. And you are neither old nor white nor a guy.
That is true. All 3 counts. I am not.
And you're sitting down, so I have no idea what kind of pants you're wearing. So
yeah, that's true. But take my word for it. 0 for 3 on those. But yeah, but I'm in golf and I love golf.
How do we proselytize, missionary, preach? I mean, how do we get the word out that this is not what the game is?
Well, I think it's a couple things, John. I think one of the big things, which I try to do every day, is where we are right now in this sport is that we do need people like me to give that testimony that golf is fun and you belong in it. And I am very overt when I'm teaching, when I'm talking to anyone about it. I let them know that everyone belongs in golf. It is super fun. It fits for everyone. And I think one of the most beautiful things about golf is that as I like to say, if you can breathe, you can play golf. Right? You may not be the greatest. You may not be ready for Augusta in a few months, but you can play and you can enjoy it and you can realize all the benefits that golf brings to us. Those who love it know so well. Yeah. So I think really it's when you know it, you can be it. And I try to be there so that people can see it and believe it.
I've perused your website. Do you specialize, or are you teaching women exclusively?
No, I teach everyone. I mean, okay. I actually have quite a cadre of gentlemen, but what I realize is that because of some of the things in the way golf has been portrayed, and to an extent has been, but it's still kind of portrayed, is that oftentimes women need the overt invitation.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is really why my website is designed as such. I wish in the perfect world, I could have the overt invitation to gentlemen and juniors and everyone, but it would be confusing. But
Yes.
I know that with women, the overt invitation is so needed. So I decided that that's where I would place the emphasis on my my collateral, if you will.
And I also know one of the things you do is group lessons.
Yes.
And women feel more comfortable that way, don't they?
Women are, yes, and not all, but many. And so
Right.
I think it's a couple things there. Women, generally speaking, are a bit more comfortable exposing their vulnerabilities, what they don't know in a
Mm-hmm.
learning environment, where the gentlemen come. I mean, I've been teaching quite a while and I've taught a lot of group sessions. I teach mixed sessions, but you won't have 6 men sitting there swinging and missing. Like that's not going to happen, not together. And so that's okay. We know that our learning styles, generally speaking, can differ. And so I honor and respect that. But ladies do like the group because the groups also give them permission to begin exploring golf. Maybe their buddies and girlfriends don't play golf, but they've had an interest in the sport. It gives them an opportunity to come in, create, and build community. By the time, ladies start in a group and they come and they don't know anyone, by the end of that session, of course, everyone's exchanged numbers, they're texting, they have their own golf foursome or 2 foursomes by the time
Right.
the class is over. And I really encourage that because we know that we play more golf when we have great golf buddies.
Yes, indeed. I mean, that's one of the excuses for playing golf.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And one of the benefits of playing golf
Exactly. So
is
really,
you can show up. You can show up alone to a golf course and leave with friends.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it's, some of them, they're kind of a little skittish in the beginning, but once they see that, again, they kind of fall in love with it. And that's really, if you ask me, it's particularly when it comes to, beginning and early stage golfers, I say that my job is to help those people fall in love with the game of golf. That is my mission when I start a course or a program.
Right.
I want everyone to fall in love with golf.
And you approach it with an evangelical fervor.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Right. And it's not an act. I mean, I just love it. And people go like, man, you really love this sport. And I do, because it can do so many things for us. And as a golfer, you well know that. And again, because many people have not seen that, I know that I have to help them see that. And I'm okay with that. Even if it means me being a little bit goofy or corny, that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you get involved in the game?
I started playing golf very casually with my dad when I was a little girl. I mean, I've played sports and been a jock my entire life, but my dad played golf, from the time I was a small girl. And I am to this day, I'm a daddy's girl. But
Okay.
I knew and I figured out that, when I was younger, of course, he had a career and a family. He was a busy guy. But that time, if you could kind of, the best way to etch out some solo time was to hang out with dad when he was hitting golf balls or that type of thing. And so that's kind of, I would do that. And oftentimes I would go if he was going to practice or even play. And I wasn't at all engaged in, hitting balls or playing. But one day I literally was like, can I hit some balls? And he was like, sure. And, he gave me a few. And I think I might have pulled out like a 4-iron or something. Of course, it was as tall as I was. And he's like, hold on. So he gave me like an 8-iron. It might have been a wedge or something, like his pitching wedge or something like that. And I'm a natural lefty. And my father is as well, but he plays golf right-handed. And so it was a right-handed club. But I've played tennis since I was a very small girl. And I'm old enough that I've started with a wood racket that was as heavy as I was, so 2 hands on both sides. So I kind of just looked and figured it out. And I hit a shot. And because it was just a backhand, on a different plane. And I remember my dad's kind of looking like, whoa, where'd that come from? And so he said, do it again. And I did. And he said, let's freeze. And so I did. I went through instruction and some different things, and I enjoyed it. However, of course, and I can say this in retrospect as an adult now, the reason I didn't choose golf over tennis was that there was no community. There weren't other little kids or little girls that looked like me. When I went to some of the events, frankly, it was a bunch of, I'm sure there were nice little guys, but white boys looking at me like, what are you doing here? Not in a bad way, like you don't belong here. I just had a community of tennis where it was just much more fun. It was already welcoming. And so one of the things that, now I want the next Gretas to have a tougher choice because of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tennis is, though, a very friendly companion to playing golf.
It absolutely is. And lots of people, when the knees and the hips start giving out, they come on over to tennis. But you're exactly right. They're very much companions. There are a lot of people that do both.
Yeah. And the talents are the same, and basically one can help you with what you need to do the other well.
Exactly.
Hand-eye coordination, the whole thing.
Yeah, tennis players typically come to golf, and a lot of the fundamental aspects of ball striking and whatnot that we need to explain, they already understand. They understand spin, they understand height, trajectory, all of these things, footwork, pressure, rotation. We do all of those things in a tennis stroke as well.
Yeah. So Nelly Korda and her sister, who are both at the top of the LPGA rankings, their dad was a professional tennis player.
And their brother is, I think their younger brother, he's in the top 20 in the world right now, Sebastian. Yeah.
So there is an affinity.
Absolutely.
For the two right there.
Absolutely.
In fact, Jeff recommends to his students that they don't concentrate on just golf this early in life when he touches with juniors. Absolutely. And he will say, take up tennis too. Mm-hmm. It's a great companion. You'll, share talents, and it'll help you both games.
Development of athleticism.
Yes.
Is very helpful. Yes.
Exactly. We're our guest is Dr. Greta Anderson. Dr. Greta Golf is her website. Check it out. We've got some more conversations, and we're coming right back. We are those weekend golf guys, and we do encourage you to hang out with us. Don't go away. And number 3, it's 12 minutes long now. In 3, 2, 1. It is us. We're back, those weekend golf guys. I'm John Ashton. Jeff Smith down at the PGA Merchandise Show, showing off his talents and his abilities and wowing and amazing all of his compatriots. Our guest, Dr. Greta Anderson, who can wow and amaze you too on the golf course. You want to go out. When Dr. Greta, did you decide to become a teacher and not just enjoy the game?
Sure. I decided to become a teacher right about in my mid-30s.
Okay.
After business ownership, a bunch of different things, but I have always enjoyed sharing my love of sport. I taught tennis for decades.
Okay.
And so one of the things that I realize is that I have rather, when it comes to coaching and that type of thing, after years of training and all that stuff, I have pretty thick skin. But I was surprised very candidly at some of the less than encouraging energy, if you will, that I received as I looked for a new coach. And so fortunately, I ran into an amazing coach. And, when I said, hey, my intention is to become, take my game on up and become a professional, she didn't flinch. She just said, we've got work to do and let's get to work.
Cool.
But I mean, I literally had a couple people laugh in my laugh. Some things. And through that experience, I realized, well, now I have pretty thick skin, when it comes to most things, particularly sports. I don't care if you believe that I'm going to achieve it. I'm just going to do it. That's just kind of how I am. But I know that many people are not that way.
Yeah, I don't need your approval to do it.
Right. Correct. Yeah. And so I was thinking like, well, geez, if I'm running into this kind of, if you will, resistance or less than ideal levels of encouragement, what is someone who's kind of wading in, who may not have that kind of, that kind of sports constitution, if you will, how are they feeling? This is how people get turned off from the sport. So I said, hey, why not me?
Yeah.
And so I love it. I do. I'm been known to be highly competitive.
Here's a euphemism for you.
Once in a while. But I find it so interesting that most of that competitive nature is now, I live vicariously through my students. Like, I don't say I could care less of, like in competing with, with my colleagues, that's not
Hmm.
the case. I do enjoy it, but I have sweaty palms on the weekends when I have, clients playing in the pro, in the club championship, or my juniors playing, in the state championship. That is
Yeah.
when I'm like a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
So, I find that taking that energy and helping other people to, again, enjoy the game, know what the game can do for them, is just awesome. And so really that's kind of, who knew that's how I was going to end up in golf.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great because the game can not only teach, I mean, and you even have this on your website. It's basically a metaphor for life.
Absolutely.
And you can learn so much about other people simply by playing golf with them.
It's the best interview ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and in fact, we used to counsel people that if you're looking to form a relationship with someone, play golf with them,
Right.
and you will learn everything about them in 4 hours that you need to know.
That's right. Because in a round of golf, we're all going to experience some highs and lows. And so it's as I like to say, during my sessions with clients, is that golf is character revealing.
Yes. Yeah.
Whether
Not
you want
character
it to be
building.
or not, it is
Yeah.
character revealing.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And that's why it's such a great business tool also,
Absolutely.
because you
Absolutely.
can know immediately whether or not you want to do business with somebody,
Right. Right.
because of how they act and who they are.
Right. You go like,
Yeah.
okay, so that's how we act when something doesn't go our way.
That's right.
Or, right, you didn't think that anyone was watching, so it was okay to drop that ball from the pocket.
Mhm. Yeah. And I counted 7 shots, but I'll write down that 5 if
Right.
you
All right,
insist.
down at 5 if you say so, even though we saw you put it in the water twice. 5 for you. Exactly. Exactly. It's character revealing. And so that's a real attribute. And I just loved it so much, a metaphor for life. For, let's just say, for example, we've all been there. We hit the great tee shot, right?
Mhm.
Beautiful. TV ready. And then that next shot, let's just, who knows, par 5 or whatever. We hit
Yeah.
the next one, we shank it. It's a nightmare. We can't find it.
Yeah.
I can choose to, kind of suck that up and move onward. I can let that ruin the hole. I can let that ruin the front nine. I can let it ruin the round. All of those are choices that I have to make. I get to
Right.
make a decision on how risky I am or choose to be in terms of my recovery, how conservative I want to be. It's life, right? I get to make those choices. You can decide that something that happened 10 years ago is going to, determine the trajectory of your entire life, or you can choose otherwise
Yeah. And move on.
and move on. Right.
Yes, it one of the things that Jeff counseled me on. We played golf together when we first started this show,
Yeah.
and I was not very good when he and I first met. And I hit a really nice drive. It went 300 yards, 200 out and 100 to the right.
Oh,
And it was yeah, in a crop of trees. And we were riding in the cart together, and I went in there, and actually it was beyond the trees. It was in the parallel fairway.
okay. Hmm.
And I was sitting there scoping out how wide the openings were with the trees. And Jeff was very calm sitting here. He goes, "John, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I got to get the ball back." He said, "I'm a rules official too. I can assure you there's nowhere in the rules book that says you have to play the fairway for the hole you're on.
Right.
So you have a wide open shot over here. Take it."
And then going over. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's right.
He said, "I know you. You can get it past these trees and then get to the green. So you're not going to get there in 2. Big deal."
Which is the power, one, of understanding the game, knowing the
Exactly.
rules, which is what I believe that, everyone's not going to be able to hit the ball super high, fast, and far. No
No.
problem. But the power in knowing the game, knowing the rules, allows you to um, more fully maximize your skills
Mhm.
and your abilities.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fact that it's handicapped allows people of differing skill levels to play together and have fun and enjoy it.
Which happens in no other sport. Because I tell you what, on the other side of that net, you know, Nelly, I should say Nelly Court. Let's just say Roger Federer. If he hits the serve, chances are good that I'm not returning it.
We're seeing it.
There you go. Unless I'm watching on the replay back in my hotel room or something like that. I'm not going to see it. Exactly. So, but here, right, we know I could be playing alongside Nelly Corda. Yeah. And, theoretically, we're going to, we're starting at an equal footing. Yes. And so, again, it's one of those things that just makes our sport so durable, so enamoring. I can go on with the adjectives. That's why I just think it's the perfect sport.
And when the people understand that, and it takes more people like you, Dr. Greta, to get the message out, I think that the game is not as exclusive as people have made it look. Right. Yeah. But that's a problem of people in the golf business, especially with women. Golf courses themselves are not welcoming to women.
Well, we could talk for a while about some of my issues with things that it's just not fair. I'll use my my parents as an example. Both of my parents are avid golfers, which is great for playing great golf, and I'm very proud of and happy that they are. But I remember, I can't recall, we might have been traveling, but we were somewhere. And my mother said, "Well, this just isn't fair, Greta." And I said, "Well, what's going on, Mom?" And she said, "Well, your dad gets to choose. He's got all of these tee boxes that he can choose from." I mean, they've been married for 56 years. So, there was a time when he was playing from the tips and he's worked his way on up. And she's like, "I don't have anywhere to go. The course is getting longer and longer for me."
Mm-hmm. And she's aging gracefully also. Yes.
Yeah. And so, fortunately, she's in great health and she's, still plays in her league. She's like in 3 or 4 leagues, plays all the time. Mm-hmm. But as we know life happens as people, age, and they're maybe not as able to hit the ball as far, they may not have that endurance. For the ladies, the course is just getting more and more challenging. Mm-hmm. If you're playing from, if your daughter is a mid-handicap amateur and she's your daughter, she's 25, 30 years younger than you or more, and you all are playing from the same tees, because it's really the only choice.
Yeah.
Those little things that, we tend not to, and it's been, I won't say it's not malicious, but I believe that when we know better, we do better. Dr. Maya Angelou always told us. So we know better. So let's do better.
Cool.
To invite those things we know that for the juniors, we know we have junior tees.
Yeah.
Right. We can't expect the, 7-year-old to tee it off. Well, not all of them, 230 yards. Yeah. So we make the game more fun in the middle. I have to just think if we are a bit more overt in saying it's okay, don't get so wrapped up and hung up in, being in regulation, GI, or all of these things. Like, look, right now they're focused on making good, solid contact. Why are you worried about par?
Yeah, don't worry about. Just have fun. Worry about having fun.
Just worry about having fun.
That's right. Don't count. In fact, we counsel people, don't even count the shots.
Yeah, right.
Right. Just go and have a good time.
Which goes back to what I emphasize is we want to understand very thoroughly. We want to understand pace of play and those important cues so that you don't have to worry so much about, you're not going to be worried about scoring, but you understand you need to pay attention to the people in front of you. So if you keep things moving, okay, if you see them kind of turning the bend, it's time to pick up and let's keep it moving. But I encourage people to not worry so much about the scoring, because then they can enjoy and experience all the phases of the game, right? We know beginner golfers, if they're worried about scoring and they're trying to get on the green, by the time they get there, they're rushing. Oftentimes they don't even have a chance to experience or work on their short game on the course. Yeah. So just relax, enjoy it, have fun. What it's, as I always say, if you're paying money to play golf, relax and have fun.
That's it. Got some more with Dr. Greta Anderson from Dr. Greta Golf when we come right back. We are those weekend golf guys. Hang on. All right, now number 4 in 3, 2, 1. And it is us very interesting conversations with Dr. Greta Anderson, Dr. Greta Golf. A little shameless self-promotion before we forget and get too involved in the conversation. How do people find you?
You can find me on my website, Dr. Greta Golf, DrGreta golf.com, and on all of the social platforms at Dr. Greta Golf. It's pretty simple.
That's fantastic. And you're in the Atlanta area, so if anybody's around there and they want to take some lessons from a
Absolutely.
darn good golf instructor, then just give her a call. What do you work at a specific course or?
I teach out of a Steel Canyon Golf Club, which is in Sandy Springs. So anybody
Okay.
familiar with the Atlanta area knows that's just north of the city.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Off I-75.
Right. 285, 75. Yeah. We're
Yeah.
very quaint, beginner friendly. It's one of the things I love. I've taught at several facilities in the metro area over the years, but one of the real draws is that it's always nice to be attached to a course where beginners are welcome.
Yeah, very, very much so. Because again, as we just mentioned in the last segment, sometimes golf does not appear very welcoming.
Correct.
To people who are not familiar. Right. I mean, even the simple thing of what do you do when you pull into the parking lot?
It's if you look at things, we've been playing golf a long time, John, and been in golf, both of us. But when you look at things, and I was explaining this to one of my clients the other day, and I said, the reality is that the more exclusive or, a golf club or golf facility you're in, the less signage there is.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of thought for a minute, and she was like, I said, yeah, it's kind of like if you're supposed to be here, you should know where everything is.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's like, I never really thought of that. I said, yeah, we've all been there where, we're heading to another tee box and it's like this, multifaceted intersection. And you're like, where
do you go?
Where do you go?
Yeah.
No signage. And so the same thing can be said at the clubhouse, right? You pull in and what's next? It's, where do I put my bag, so on and so forth. So yeah, we make it all pretty simple. It's really friendly. Our entire staff is friendly. Yeah. And it's a really nice entree to playing. I mean, be clear, lots of people that are far beyond beginners play with us with our location. We're in an exemplary location in terms of convenience and everything like that. But it is beginner friendly, and that makes it great.
Yeah. Well, we're out of Louisville, Kentucky, and just across the river is Fuzzy Zeller's two golf courses.
Okay.
And his staff at Covered Bridge is so wonderful. When you pull into the parking lot, before you're out of your car, there's somebody behind you in a cart.
Yes.
Ready to take your clubs, ask you if you've ever been here before, explain the layout, explain what you should do next. We'll take your clubs, we'll put them in the cart, we'll take it down. There's the pro shop. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Hospitality, right?
Yes.
Hospitality for all, right? This thing. Yeah. I think that, as we, work to kind of change the face of golf, that's one of the things that, is really important. As I said, I give the overt invitation to women using my website and other online things. But even anyone who's taken a lesson with me from the very beginning knows that one of the first things I say is welcome to golf. Yeah. We are glad to have you and you belong here. I mean, It's very overt because we think, oh, well, they must feel like they belong in this sport and all that stuff because they're standing in front of you. Not at all. Because unfortunately, lots of people have had less than great experiences by the time they're on my lesson tee or, back on a lesson tee. And I feel like that if that has happened, it's unfortunate. But the good news is it's a new day. We're making it a new day.
Yeah.
And I want you to know that we're starting from scratch. We're starting fresh and you're going to love golf.
Especially with students, I would imagine, who have had a history of trying to play before.
Yes.
Maybe trying to just jump in with absolutely no instruction whatsoever.
Exactly.
Golf is not an easy game.
It is not an easy game, but but I also explain to them, like, I always tell people, like, here's the deal. Golf is just physics wrapped up in a game.
Yeah.
And so, because if someone's been struggling or been, dibbled and dabbled and, the ball's dribbled or maybe, kind of bounced around, and then within 17 minutes, of the lesson, the ball is flying, they'll mistake you for a higher power.
That's right.
And no. I'm appreciative that you're appreciating what I'm helping you with here, but understand that this is just the basics, the laws of ball flight. All the golf instructors learn them in day one of their golf
Yep.
educational process. So I'm just helping you to see that. And I believe in information. I'm empowering you. I don't want my students to be out on the fairway and clueless about what may be going wrong. That to me is not good. That is not good golf education and good coaching. You may not be able to see it and fix it, but I want you to understand, like, I am pulling this, so it must be one of these things.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that is more empowering than I don't know. I guess I better just send her a text because I got to get on this lesson tee. I just don't want that. So kind of all of these things to really kind of change the face of the perception. I think that's probably a more accurate descriptor of golf. It is not the easiest, but I'm also, strive to be a myth breaker. It does not take a lifetime to become a good golfer.
No, it does not. I have a grandson who was when I believe he was 6 when I took him to a driving range with me, and he hit his first shot, and I was friendly with the pro at the driving range, and he saw my grandson out there, and he hit the first shot, and it dribbled, and he came over and he went, "Joe, buddy, hold it like this, swing like this, try it again," and he hit it 50 yards straight high in the air.
That's right.
He was hooked. From the second time he swung that club, he was hooked.
Exactly. And I know that, as I mentioned, that helping people to fall in love that's my mission. I know that when people see and feel the success of hitting a shot, golf is that hook, right? That's so knowing and understanding how the biomechanics work, what makes the ball fly, that's my job to know all the intricacies, deep plane and all that stuff. Well, they don't care about all that stuff.
No.
That's my job to simplify that, help you apply it so the ball flies, you have fun, and you want to play golf for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's it exactly. And like you said, so if you're out there in the fairway without you being next to them, then, and they hit it and it hooks to the left, they know the 2 or 3 things they might have done wrong.
Exactly.
And can maybe work to fix it on their own.
Make a bit of adjustment or, compensate or something like that, but not just be totally ignorant of like, I have no idea. Because, most golf instructors have had that experience. We go like, so tell me a little bit about what was going on in your round on Saturday. I don't know. Just the ball wasn't, you like, can we narrow it down just a little bit,
Were there any consistent flaws?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Was it going left or was it going really left? Right. Well, really, really left. Okay. So now we're talking about we're doing a little bit of hooking. Okay. Now we're narrowing it down.
And did it shoot off to the left immediately, or did it
exactly
just
right? Was it off of this? Was it off of this part of the club, or was it off of this part of the club? Yeah. Right. So if we can narrow that down, whittle it down a little bit, we can go a long way. So I do like that because now even my clients may even pick up their phone and through the connected coaching platform I use, they may literally send you footage from the fairway going like, this thing is hooking pretty badly today, Coach Greta, but we'll talk about it on Tuesday. Having a great round, which always makes me laugh, but hey, you're able to identify the problem and you're working through it as best you can.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever had to fix a female student who was taught rudiments of golf from her husband incorrectly?
Probably about 10 hours a week. Yes. Yes. And it's interesting because that can come in a bunch of ways. A lot of times, that's her husband, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes you can see very clearly that what he said is absolutely incorrect.
Yeah.
But in comparison of know, like, and trust, she may know, like, and trust me a lot, but that's her husband.
Exactly.
So we kind of have to break through that, which is why in those instances where there may be some resistance, because also at times when the husband may come to the lesson, I'm not in the business of making anyone feel bad, but that's why I just lean on science.
Right.
So I explain very clearly, with an iron, this, hybrids, even we are in the business of descending. We don't want to scoop, I just explain things very clearly so that I'm not saying that he was wrong. I'm just saying that this is how we make the ball fly.
And a lot of times I would imagine those guys being real cool about the whole thing. Listen, take it to heart, and
A lot.
maybe make some adjustments on their own game when they get
And
out.
every now and then he books. He ends
Yeah.
up booking as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I said, I'm not in the business of, trying to prove someone wrong or right or anything like that. But I also understand relationships matter. That relationship is much deeper than ours will ever be.
Oh yeah.
So I respect and honor that. But I want to you came to me, and I do not take it lightly that people choose to invest their time and energy and resources to come to me. So I want to make it value packed. But I also will tell people I'm a scientist. I'm a social scientist. I believe in science, and I understand that it's just physics.
Mhm.
So I'm going to lean on that as I explain things to you, so you don't think that this is opinion. No, this is fact. If you want the ball to fly straight, or draw, fade, whatever you're looking to do, this is how it's going to work.
Yeah. Are you? You mentioned the biomechanics. You, Mike Adams and E.A. Tischler and those guys. You follow any of the stuff that they do?
I am a research nerd.
Okay.
I used to do it in secret, but I'm proud of it. At this season of my life, I'm a research nerd. So yes, I enjoy constantly leveling up as an instructor. I mean, and interestingly, right, as we expand the number of people playing golf, the diversity of people, types, body builds, history, sports history, lack thereof, limb difference, all of these things come into play. So you really need to understand these things.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
You do. Jeff is a great proponent of that. Good friends with Mike Adams and EA, and we've had them both on the show.
Okay.
You're going to have to put you in touch with Jeff when he gets back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We'd love to talk together.
Most years I would be at the show, but a couple things went on, and I couldn't make it. But my team is down there. But I know, so it's an amazing time. So I look forward to that.
Yes, you guys get along great together. Just a little quick story going back to where you're saying the more exclusive the golf course, the less signage. Two things: we played in a scramble at I forget the name of the club here in town, but it's where Justin Thomas's dad taught.
Oh, okay.
Justin Thomas learned to play golf.
Okay.
There are no signs. We spent many times trying to figure out, okay, where is the next tee? Because even the cart paths stopped.
Exactly.
And it was
it can be kind of scary.
Yeah, it was like, where do we go from here? And then another thing is I was invited by a friend of mine who is the consummate stereotypical old white guy in funny pants, who's a member of the Louisville Country Club.
Okay.
And he taught me or he showed me how to get there. He gave me directions.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom of the driveway entrance, there is no sign that says Louisville Country Club.
None.
There is a sign that says private, keep out.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, John, because I was going to say it was. I mean, there are several places here. I'm in Atlanta. The seat of the Old South as well. And I was doing. I'm a Titleist brand, and so this was maybe 3-4 years ago with the past couple of years. It's all been a blur. Anyway, we were shooting some commercials, and we were at where were we? Piedmont Driving Club. And they have two. Yeah. And I remember, because we started early. I think we were going to start the shoot at 6. It was early. It's going to be a long day. And I'm going like, what? I have driven past this thing so many times.
That's right.
And there was a sign that was about the size of my telephone here. Private. And I'm going, are you kidding me? This driveway that's about the width of my car.
Yep.
And then, of course, you come into it, and it's this beautiful, absolutely breathtaking, facility and parcel and everything like that. But I'm going like, you really don't want folks coming in here. No, they don't want anybody just stumbling upon the place. Not at all. Dr. And so Greta, it's that kind of thing. Private is, those are exclusive private facilities. However, the sport as a whole, we could shake off some of that. Oh, yeah. We're going to have to, because those guys are the mid-level private, the guys who are trying to be exclusive but have no business being exclusive. They're losing money. They're losing their butts. So I have a funny story about that. Okay. So I'm in Metro Atlanta, tons of beautiful clubs and facilities, and so you familiar with Groupon?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So a couple of my golf buddies, they call me, they were like, it's a long shot, but are you teaching today or do you have time to play? I was like, you're in luck. I'm not teaching. I'd love to play. They're like, come on up. We're teeing off at whatever time it was. And so we get all the way around. And at the 17th hole, the sky, it opens up because we would have just finished, but it opens up. No problem. We hop on our carts. We head on to the clubhouse, which of course was just one hole away.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's pouring rain. So we come in and we're kind of shaking off and everything. We've covered up our clubs and everything like that. And the hostess at the clubhouse in the restaurant, she says, well, you all can't sit in here. And we said, we pay for our tea time on Groupon. What are you talking about? And she's like, oh yeah, but we're exclusive. And so we're going, we paid for our tea times on Groupon. It's like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
It's a great club. It's a great course, but don't try to act like this is Augusta National. Come on.
Exactly.
She really was like, but I'm not going to say the name of the club, but we're going like, we each paid $21.
Yeah. Gotcha. Dr.
So
Greta,
those types of things we have to lose sight of.
fantastic to meet you. Fantastic conversation. I'm so happy you were able to come on with us, and we'll have to have you back on again.
That would be my great pleasure.
It was great. Dr. Greta Anderson, drgretagolf.com, right?
Yes.
Did I pay attention? I did.
You did.
It's fantastic.
Thanks so much for having me, John.
And just a little self-promotion on our part. We are one of the 8 finalists for Golf Sports Podcast of the Year.
Yes.
You can go to sportspodcastawards.com and vote for us early and often. We'd appreciate it. Dr. Greta Anderson, thank you again for spending time with us here on those Weekend Golf Guys.
Thank you so much for having me, John.
All right. That'll work.